welcome back to another episode of the Authors Unite show. Today we have Blake Newbar with us. So welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, grateful to have you on. So can you kick us off and tell us a little bit more about you and what you do?
Sure. So what's up, everyone? My name is Blake Newbar. I've been a digital marketer now probably for a few years, nothing crazy. And what we do is we help people start profitable digital product businesses online. So if you're looking for a way to make money online, that is where we come in.
Awesome. Yeah. And you've had only for a few years, you've had some crazy results, man. That's awesome.
Humble, man. Humbling experience for sure.
Yeah. So where did, let's start from the origin, kind of like what were you doing before you got online?
Yeah. So, funny enough. So my online journey actually started back in college. I wasn't really doing anything. I was just being your typical college student, but my business partner and I, we were experiencing this problem with school, right? And I think every student experiences it, and it's studying for exams sucks, right? And what you're constantly doing as a student is you're absorbing all this information. You're just cramming, hoping to get a good grade, regurgitate the information, and everything's over. So we actually were going through this process. We started drinking heavily one night, and
we're all great idea stuff.
Yeah. We're just like, man, like studying sucks. There's got to be a better way. So we created what we called a Visi guide. And instead of like studying all of this crazy content that is like textbook stuff with all this, like we call it word vomit, because if you ever studied like a bunch of study guides, it's just terrible. And we decided to turn those study guides into what we called Visi guides, like visual guides. And it was just like mnemonic devices, like visual animations, like all this cool stuff. And when we were done, we sold them for $5, put them up on a WordPress site, and we were ready to go sell it. So we had this crazy idea, because we were drinking heavily. We had this crazy idea to I bought a gorilla suit, and I jump in this gorilla suit. My business partner has a boombox and a hat on, and we bombard this class at the college I was attending with like 3,000 students in it. And I just get in a gorilla suit, and I'm holding the sign being like, hey, do you want a better grade on the next exam? He's got the boombox on. We have original footage of this. It's crazy. And next thing you know, we walk out, we go to the bar. We because we were drinking, we continued our drinking. We're like, man, did this thing work? Is this going to make money? So we're at the bar, and after this entire gorilla suit stunt, my phone went off and it vibrated. And we got like our first sale online for $5. And few moments after that, a few more sales came in. Long story short, we made like $800 that night, and we made like $5,000 that semester. And it kind of, that's when your mind was blown moment. So how I got started was out of pain. Like I think most great ideas come is that you yourself are experiencing some type of frustration, and you don't want to sit around and wait for someone to create it. You just want to handle it yourself. And that is kind of where the journey began. I wasn't introduced into like sales funnels and marketing until a few years later, which has its own story. But basically we connected the world of digital products and sales funnels and kind of created into a business where now we can show and tell people and teach them how to do the same thing that we did.
Gotcha, man. Dude, I love that story. And I think it's so similar to most people that do end up doing like online marketing type of things. Like even if it's like a cent, like when you make your first money online, it is just life-changing, dude.
It's like, game over. Like I still get excited for like a $7 sale now versus like a $7,000 sale. I'm the same like idiot being like, yes, like this is awesome, right? Because I don't think there's any more thrilling. The most thrilling moment I've probably ever experienced as an entrepreneur was never the dollar amount I sold. It was that someone somewhere across the world, whoever that person was, decided to pull out their credit card and they saw value in what it was that you were selling. And they said, you know what, I'm going to pay you for this. And as an entrepreneur, like when you make your first sale, I think we all experience this. It's like, there's no turning back. You have to dig deeper. You have to explore that vein further to see like what potential can come out of it. And that's when we just become relentless in these pursuits that we all go through, is when we really get that first sale.
100%, man. That is a great story. And I love that drinking was the catalyst for it.
Oh yeah. Could you have it any other way?
Yeah. So then you do that, and then a few years go by, and then you kind of get introduced to sales funnels. Like, or what happened in those few years? Were you having some success, but it wasn't like very dialed in and scaled, basically?
Yeah. So it was good success. Look, we're college students, right?
$5,000 is great.
We're so broke,
dude. You're rich at that point.
Oh man, I mean, I remember splitting like Natty Light cases with roommates and stuff. Like, yo, man, you got like $6. Let's do this. And So we make some good money, right? It's not great money, but it was good money. So eventually though, like that business model, it was hard to scale that.
Yeah.
Just for various reasons of like different textbooks, different universities, a bunch of stuff. So I eventually did, what I thought was the big boy thing. And I, put my big boy pants on and my shirt and my tie, quote unquote. And I got a job. I worked a 9 to 5 and I was working for a fitness company. And our responsibility was at the time, my responsibility was we were building this amazing product. It was this brand new, we basically wanted to, because we were coming from education, right? So the idea was to change the way that students learn, because right now, if you look at any like kind of textbook, like I still think they all are trash. They suck. They're miserable experiences. So the idea was, let's make something that was all visual, like a completely visual book to explain concepts and teach things. And what we were doing is we were building this brand new certification to create personal trainers. So if someone wanted to be a personal trainer at a gym or be on their own, we had the certification that said, hey, stamp it, you're now a personal trainer because you passed this certification. So we're working on this product for like 9 months, like crazy amount of time we put into this thing. And when we were ready to go sell it, we handed it over to the marketing department and they just could not sell this thing. They're like running a website. They're running like ads directly to the website, and like days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and we're making no money. And at the time, we're thinking like, shit, man, we just put blood, sweat, and tears into this and no one is buying it. Right. And we had like, we had the team, we had like the best recipe for success, but had none, right? Like it just didn't make any sense. So out of pure frustration, one night I'm going home. I'm just like, man, this is a disaster. So I remember going home one night frustrated, and I'm sitting in bed. I have my computer up, and it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm scrolling on Facebook, just trying to like get some dopamine release. Like, let me do mindless stuff right now to kind of like avoid what I'm about to go into tomorrow morning. And I see this ad pop up from this guy named Russell Brunson. And I had no idea who Russell was at the time. I just saw this crazy dude with an exorbitant amount of energy on this like ad and in this video. And I click it and I watch this. I'll never forget the ad. It was weird marketing experiments to increase traffic conversions and sales online. I clicked this thing. I watched this thing. And this guy is just rambling about, hey, if you want to make money online, if you want to learn how to sell your products and services, then you need a sales funnel. And I was instantly just like captivated and drawn in and sucked into this guy's ecosystem that I remember watching. It was like a 90-minute presentation. I watched it twice, and it's like 6 a.m. now. I go into work. I'm pulling an all-nighter, and I just remember going into the office, and we had like this whiteboard on the wall, and I just start going crazy on this whiteboard, sketching out what I thought was going to be the solution to sell our product, right? My first ever sales funnel was this webinar funnel. I barely knew what I was doing. I had a ClickFunnels account. I was completely clueless, but I was like, you know what? If there's a will, there's a way. And people are coming in. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I think I know how we're going to sell this thing. And the marketing department's already kind of like, yeah, good luck, man. Like, we'll see. You don't really know marketing. So, more power to you. So build this thing. I call up one of our celebrity trainers who was like the face of this certification. I'm like, hey man, I need you to record this webinar. Here it is. He records it, sends it back like a week later. We pop it in this funnel. We launch this funnel. I tell the marketing department, I say, hey, listen, you guys are running ads to the website. Just run ads to this funnel. We launch this funnel. He gets on, he starts pitching this thing. An hour goes by. We drop the offer and not a single person purchased this product. And that was the moment I was like, oh, damn it. Like we just put a few weeks of effort into this thing and it didn't work. And I remember going outside and kind of being like, man, that sucked. That didn't work. I'm like swearing to myself. And then I walked back in. I remember the one thing that kind of changed my life, changed my trajectory in this space. And I walked back into my computer and I'm like, you know what? I'm not giving up yet. So I go to my computer and I did the most effortless thing any human can do to see if you can generate a sale. And I clicked on the refresh button like 30 minutes after the webinar was over, and we had our first sale for like $700. And I went nuts, and I went so crazy how it worked. Like, we made our first, someone bought a high ticket product that I walked in the office the next day. I quit and I set out on this journey to figure out how can I really make money using sales funnels. And that was kind of like, that's what happened next. And that's kind of what began my journey in this online space just a few years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that is an incredible story. And just so I'm aware, so the $700, that was without like any phone call, right? Like that was just webinar to offer.
Exactly
basically.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All it took was one. That's it. One of us like, yep, that's it. This guy named Russell Brunson. At first I thought he was, everything he was saying was my limiting beliefs, right? I didn't
Yeah.
this. I was like, nah, it's not true. It doesn't work. And then when it didn't work, I was like, this is crap. It doesn't work. And then like when I, came back in the office, hit the refresh button and it worked. That's when I was like, I knew it, Russell. I knew you were right. And I was just like completely changed my life. And I just kind of been steering in that direction ever since.
Yeah, man. One of the things I love about his marketing, and he actually had a video I saw recently about this a few months ago, was just like building curiosity, like on the front end of so like the one that got you was like the weird, 100 weird marketing experiments or something. And for me, what got me into his world kind of was this one weird niche funnel that it was something like that.
Yeah.
It's just
Another
like
classic one.
yeah, it just kind of like brings you in. You're just like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
And then it goes into like really teaching you. And then obviously ClickFunnels is typically the end result. Gotcha. So now from then till now, you've generated over $15 million online. That's accurate?
Yeah. I mean, it changes all the time. Of course.
Oh yeah. At least 50. So
yes,
is this,
yes.
And the reason I really bring that up is because is it like one particular funnel that you're replicating in different industries that's generating this, or is it like is it very different funnels?
Different. Yeah. So
different. Okay.
Different funnels. It really depends. Like some people, like at the time we had I started an agency. My business partner and I were working on this agency together, and we were doing a lot of different client work, right? And we're working with clients all over the world, sharks on Shark Tank, people on AMC, like just amazing people we've gotten to work with. And you start to see how successful they're becoming with funnels, right? And, I started out, my journey started from when I quit that job to where I am now. It's a slog, right? At first, like you have to like make big, bold moves to really project yourself to a new level in any space, in anything you do. But fast forward to the agency, like the peak of it. Yeah, we're working with some amazing people. We realized like, man, we could really start doing stuff like this. Like we could really do stuff like this ourselves, like really create an amazing opportunity to help to really scale our skill sets better, right? Because agency work, it's great and all, right? Like, and there's a lot of people that love it, but it just wasn't our cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
You can only impact so many people. And to some people, that's amazing. That's good for you. I love that. But I was on a mission. We wanted to impact way more people faster. So we decided, you know what, like we can do this ourselves and just like, we do it ourselves. So we keep more control over the direction, the strategic vision, things like that. But B, we're able to impact people on a much more broad level, right? We can talk to more people. So we launched our own info products that did extremely well, and the rest is history. So doing 15 million plus sales online, it was never one thing, but it was also not 20 different things. It was just a couple different big ideas that have been going well, and we've just been kind of watering and nurturing those things to kind of have a sustainable future ahead of them.
Gotcha. So let's walk through two of these case studies that we had about you here. So like you had one from 0 to $1 million in 25 days. Can you talk about that one?
Yeah. So 0 to $1 million.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Yeah, because that was great. No, totally unexpected. The most done before it was $1,043,000. So I don't know what the record. I mean, listen, people make $1 million in seconds, right? It's just so everyone's record's different. Everyone's like, I'm the record holder. I don't worry about that anymore. Now it's just like, it's amazing to beat your best. So 1 million in 25 days was based on a program we have now called Blake's Partner Program, and that's one of our flagship programs where we show people how to start a profitable digital products business, but you don't have to start it from scratch. You can actually clone ours. So instead of thinking like, oh, I want to sell, this type of info product, like that's great and all. And, a lot of people are teaching that stuff, but what's unique about our opportunity is it's no one's doing it. It's not like affiliate marketing or drop shipping or Amazon FBA or any of that stuff. It's a completely new opportunity. But the special thing about it is that you're not starting from scratch. You can actually clone my exact existing business right now, verbatim. Think of it like an online franchise. Like we have a McDonald's, and this McDonald's makes great money every day. It's a proven model. And if you want to come in and start your own business, we're going to give you a quote unquote online McDonald's, let's say, where you basically get the land, you get the building, you get the menu, you get the seats, you get virtually everything that I have. I'm just showing you how to set it up and launch it for yourself. And when we launch this thing, that plaque you see behind me, I don't know if the viewers at home can really see it, but there's a massive hole in this thing because we launched it. Took a sledgehammer to it, which we were talking about before we started. But But that was how we launched this product. And next thing you know, 25 days later, we were fortunate enough to generate $1 million in sales from this one specific thing. It's gone on now in the last like 7 months to do like 5 million. And it's just been an amazing opportunity, very exciting one, because, you know, the product's amazing. The product works well, and we have a ton of people getting massive amounts of success with it. So if you would ask me, you know, 5 years ago, if I ever would have generated $1 million in 25 days, I probably would have looked at you and laughed and said, no, it's not possible. Right. I wouldn't have believed it. And then when you do it, you start killing off your old limiting beliefs and replacing them with like actual stories that make sense and align to the accomplishments that you just achieved. So it's been a roller coaster ride, but at the same time, you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been an awesome experience.
So, yeah, and actually, just so you know, your marketing's definitely working. When I looked you up on Google, I think that partner program was the first thing that popped up, actually.
Yeah.
So, and obviously people, if you want to see the actual like funnel and everything, you know, just type it into Google. But, can you just like an overview, like what does that funnel like look like? And why do you think, from maybe like a psychological or marketing standpoint, like why is it working so well?
Yeah. So interesting story. I never launched any product. Like when I came to the space, one of the things that frustrated me the most was how everyone would like, they would launch a product, make like $7,000 and then claim to be this expert and then sell it to you. And I hated that. Right. I was like, God, this is what makes this space trash at sometimes, you know, when you see that stuff. Right. So I was like, man, let's approach this a different way. So, this idea actually, again, it was just a random thing, right? I was out to dinner one time with my girlfriend. I was, you know, she hates when I'm on my phone when we're together and stuff. So she went to the bathroom, and I pull out my phone just because I'm so addicted to this thing, because my, you know, business is ran by it. And I remember scrolling on Facebook on it, and I saw some post on my feed, and I clicked on that person's profile. And it was at that moment I was like, man, I do this all the time. I'm clicking to people's profile. I'm the nosiest SOB in the world. I'm always curious what people are working on, what's going on in their life, like all this stuff. And that's when I started thinking, if I'm doing this to people all the time, clicking on their profile, how often are they clicking onto my profile? So I ran this experiment where I basically transformed my social media profiles, specifically let's talk about Facebook in this case, into where it looked like a landing page, right? So instead of like my cover, I think I had a picture of like Las Vegas as my cover photo. I changed it to like a beautiful hero image. It almost looked like you're on a website, right? Like my profile picture changed, my feature photo changed, I primed my profile for my first post. Like when my profile was done, it looked like a landing page. And I had buttons and links and all these cool things on it and stuff. And I launched this thing. 9 days later, I made $25,000 in sales from my products and services. And that's when I was like, all right, man, you got lucky. Like you got lucky. Yeah. You're not this self-proclaimed person that's just going to go sell this stuff yet. So I'm my own worst critic. And I said, you know what? We're launching a Facebook group really quickly. And we figured what better way to give this, what I discovered, package it up into a course and basically give it away to everyone that joined the Facebook group in the first 24 hours. Well, and we sold it for $1, right? So we sell this thing for $1. 1,000 people join in under 24 hours, took me up on this offer. I give it away, and I'm thinking, okay, let's see if this works. Because what I was really doing was, the framework worked for me, but I wanted to see, was it going to work for other people? So I give 1,000 of them away, and I just sit there and I twiddle my thumbs for like the next 2 days. And like, as each day rolled by, I'm just like, yep, it's a bust. Doesn't work. Only worked for me. I got luck. I must've had the market. I must've had a bigger audience, right? I started thinking of every reason why it worked for me, and it's not going to work for anyone else. And then like day 6 happened, right? And like, you know, enough time for people to go through the program. And I remember I'm on Facebook and I just see this post like on my wall. It was in my group, but it shows on my wall too. And it's like, just cracked the code, just set up my, this, we call it the social media lead machine, and made $6,000 in like, it was like 2 days or something, or 24 hours. I can't remember. It's that quick. And I'm just like blown away. And then I see another post, like generated 500 new leads, another post, generated 300 new leads, another post, made $5,000 in sales, made $3,000 in sales. And my Facebook wall and the Facebook group was lit up for the next like 2 weeks straight of people posting success story after success story. It was utterly crazy, right? So I was like, okay, maybe this is working now, right? It's like, it's actually working. So I then took that and I started running traffic to it, cold traffic, and it exploded. Like every type of person was trying to get their hands on it. And that's when I noticed this like very unique trend. I was like, okay, there's all these different types of businesses now buying this: landscapers, doctors, attorneys, dentists. I mean, you name it, they're buying it, right? And I started doing some research, right? There's 100 million businesses on Facebook, and none of them are doing this. Every business needs leads and sales. And I'm showing you how to transform your social media profiles as a business owner to get more leads and more sales to your products and services. 100 million businesses, none of them are doing it. I can't do this myself. What better way than to take this opportunity, this funnel that I was using to sell these products, and let people partner up with me, join in where they can clone that exact business and start making money for themselves by niching down. So now people join every single day and they go after specific niches that they don't even, because people don't, not everyone sees my product, obviously, right? Because I'm going after like digital marketers. So I can't tackle this opportunity alone. I want people to join in with me, partner up with me, and they can now clone and replicate this entire business, just like that McDonald's franchise, but they're going after a specific niche to sell these products to. And that's kind of how this started. And that's why it's working so well, is because, you know, it's this tried and true business model that was created because it works, and it's working so well, you know, just based on the success that, you know, everyone inside the program's having.
Yeah, man. And, you know, just as a testament to that, I believe I've actually seen this funnel. I do. I think like multiple times, or like, cause I think sometimes, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think some people might actually be like, they're cloning that funnel as well.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So,
I've definitely seen this before, I believe.
yeah. So everyone, they're
cool.
getting, they get the whole franchise, right? And the whole point of the program is, I'm not teaching you deep level marketing yet, right? Like we're gonna crawl before we walk before we run. But the fastest way to get you up and running and generating income online is by putting the pieces together. It's like a Lego set. That's like, I'm just the directions on how to put together. So the whole program is me showing you how to set this up and customizing it to have your own online business up and running. And yeah, so if you've seen ones that look similar, they're probably partners in the program.
Yeah, it's definitely working.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other one. So you had another one that did the same type of deal, but it was in 43 days. What was that one about?
So, dear friend of mine, colleague at the time, Brian Page, he had a business called the B&B formula, which is how to make money leveraging Airbnb, which was a brilliant idea. It's absolutely amazing. At the time, this was like my first like really big success, right? Because the whole time, remember when I was telling you about the agency, I'm over here like trying to make, like I was on Upwork trying to like make ends meet. Like the year I quit my job, like rewind, it was like the toughest year, right? I had like no money, right? And I'm on Upwork and I'm trying to like help people generate income online, right? Like build their funnels, customize their marketing campaigns, do things like that. And I'm over here like, man, how am I going to differentiate myself, right? Like there's people to my left and people to my right, and we're all doing the same thing. Like, how am I going to stick out like a sore thumb? So I kind of adopted this philosophy called go for wins, because the longest time when you're starting an online business, you're thinking, how can I make money? How can I, ditch the rat race? How can I, live the life I want? And that's how I thought. I was like, how can I make a lot of money? And when I started adopting this mentality of instead of how much money can I make myself to how much money can I make someone else, things started changing. So I get a phone call from Brian Page at the time, didn't know each other. He needed some help with like a tech issue, right? I didn't know how to do it, but I was like, I know how to do it, right? Like everyone, fake it till you make it, but you can adopt that philosophy if you can execute on what you're promising, right? And I knew as a type of person, I was like, look, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. 100%. And he needed some help with like it was like some weird tech issue, like some SendGrid SMTP issue. Like, yeah, man, I got you on this. And, I go and look it up and I research it and I fix it for him. And that was it. I didn't hear from Brian for a couple of weeks. Well, he's calling me. He calls me one more time. I'm driving home from St. Pete here. I live in Orlando. I have some family in St. Pete, and I'm driving home and I get a call from Brian, and he's like, hey man, I got this course. Like, it's not really doing much. I'm like selling it on like, JV Zoo here and there, but really nothing. He had no funnel, no marketing campaign, no ads, no, like nothing. Like he had the course done and that was it. No proof of concept, nothing. And he's like, yo, man, like, how can you like help me sell this thing or like build a funnel? And I'm like, I was like, dude, I would love to. Like, you need a webinar funnel for this thing. Like everything you're telling me, man, like a webinar funnel would crush it. And he's like, perfect, man. Like, do you know anyone that can build one? And I was like, yeah, me. And it was funny because it's like the next funnel I built, the first funnel that started my career was a webinar funnel. And the second funnel I'm building to kind of catapult my career was a webinar funnel. So we build this webinar funnel for Brian. We we dolled this thing up. I'm funnel hacking. I'm modeling other people. And let me say, I'm modeling. I'm not copying, because I think this space is saturated by too many people copying everyone's genius. It's so annoying. But
Yeah.
I digress. I'm modeling, and one thing led to another, trial and error. My whole mentality again was go for wins. How can I make Brian a lot of money versus how can I make a lot of money? Next thing you know, we launched this thing, and in 43 days, we do $1 million. We had an amazing team. We had a JV partner manager named Kristen, who's absolutely amazing, crushed it. Brian, obviously being the focus, being the poster child for it. And I was a partner in the business. He wanted me to become a partner in the business now because of how well we did. And 43 days later, blood, sweat, and tears with this mentality of how can I make him a lot of money? We did $1 million in 43 days. And, that funnel's gone on to do over 11 million now.
Oh, that's wild. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very cool. So I want to ask you this just because, you've had a lot of success in a short time. And I feel like just from talking to you for this period of time, I feel like you're the type of person to think about this. So later, what type of impact do you want to leave? I feel like you think very long-term.
Sure.
So I'm curious, what have you thought about that? And if so, what is the impact that you're really trying to create?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think very few entrepreneurs, right? And the ones that do think that way, they really think long-term vision, but I think it's really important, right? If you're an entrepreneur and you're listening in or watching this, start thinking of the legacy you're going to create, right? Because as you start growing a business, it stops becoming less about money, more about fulfillment and legacy, right? How are people going to remember you when you're gone? Right. And I think that's really important to kind of sit down and have a little powwow with yourself about, and what's the impact you want to make. So, yeah, of course. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the same feeling that I received when I made my first money online, I want everyone else to receive that. I want them to experience what it's like to understand that's possible, because I was the worst skeptic ever. I was the guy that's like, man, this is a scam. This ain't going to work. And basically what I was doing was blaming everything but my own abilities, because I had these limiting beliefs as to why I couldn't succeed, right? When there's so much else, there's so many other people having success out there, and you could see it. I still was trying to point the finger as to why I sucked, why I didn't suck, and why everything else out there did suck. Mm-hmm. And when I got to shatter that, right? When I got to break those limiting beliefs and realize that anything's possible, I started realizing and it happened to me that this whole kind of new wave of inspiration kind of hit me, where it's I want to wake up every day knowing that I'm going to get people to believe that they're capable of doing things that they might not otherwise believe, and that unless they had someone or something impact their lives in such an amazing way. Do I think it's going to be in the marketing space? Maybe, maybe not. But ultimately, you have to understand the arena you're playing in and how big things can get, right? For example, if you're targeting a very niche population with a product, right, you might not have the potential to become like an Amazon one day, right? Because you're playing in a very different arena. And until you understand how big that arena is and how big that idea is, that's going to be kind of the impact you're going to have. So yeah, I think, in the next, I'm not looking at year 2, year 3, I'm looking at year 10, 20, 30, 40, right? I can't tell you what it's going to be yet, because that idea doesn't exist. At the end of the day, I truly believe that the size of a business is always predicated on how big of the idea that you really have and the potential that it has. That idea doesn't exist yet, but I know that in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is, that idea is going to hit us. And when that idea hits us, whatever industry, whatever space it's in, we're going to go all in. And I think that's going to be the way to create a legacy and have an impact that I think most entrepreneurs dream of, that are waking up every day on the grind. Right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. We're enjoying helping people from all over the planet, thousands and thousands of people from over 90, 95 countries really experience what it's like to have success online. And we're going to see where this takes us. But I think big picture thing, yeah, there's going to be something down the road that I think hits us on a very macro level. And when that thing happens, when that idea comes and it's something that, we're passionate about, it's something I truly want to do, I think we're going to go all in on it. So right now, awesome. I want to help as many people as possible achieve success online and prove to them it can be done, whether that's a couple thousand people or a couple million people each and every day, wake up and aspire to be better at who I am and help more people really, achieve their dreams and achieve their aspirations. And if I can be that help to, give them even a little bit of guidance, then I think it's a win. So that's kind of where it's at. No massive idea yet.
No, that's but it's
right.
You have fun doing what you're doing.
I have fun doing what I'm doing, right? Like, look, plans get shattered, right? Like, I could tell you right now, hey, I have this idea. I could say the most vague thing. I have this idea of creating this amazing social software that's going to impact the world. But honestly, until you're in the weeds of it and actually executing on it, it starts out as this amoeba, and it doesn't like form into this solidified object until you're like truly invested into it. And I'm not there yet. But every day that we're going to keep pushing things forward, we're going to stay focused on what our pursuits are and really help people achieve success online.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that big idea, maybe it'll come like your first idea came. Just
you never know. I could be drinking a Bud Light or a Corona Light, sitting on a park bench, and it's like boom, there it is. And that's how it is, right? Like that's how these things happen. So yeah. I mean, every day is a humbling. It's an amazing experience, right? And we're just gonna see where this takes us.
Mm-hmm. So just one other question I want to ask you here is at the level, the 15 million plus, like what type of infrastructure does that look like? How many people are you working with, like employees, freelancers? Because I would imagine it's not just you, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, no. You're not.
Yeah, like that'd be pretty impressive.
No. You ever heard that saying, "What got you here won't get you there"? Yeah. I think we're all slapped with a brick on our head to really realize that. As much as I wish it could just be a couple of us, it's just not the case when you're really running a multi-million-dollar business. Look, you can get to 1 million chaotically. Okay.
Yeah.
We hit 1 million in 25 days. If I would be lying if I told you that we were buttoned up, suit and tie, structured, ready to rock and roll. No, it was sheer chaos, right? But if you ever want to scale past 1 million, okay, you can't scale chaos. It's the worst thing you can do. If you're ever sitting there, you're listening right now and you're watching this and you have an idea and you feel like you're all over the place, that's going to have to start coming together before you start scaling it, or your itty bitty problems you have right now become very big problems. And when you have a bunch of itty bitty problems, which every business has when they're first starting out, and you try and scale that, those itty bitty problems become massive. And now you have a lot of them. So it's a terrible strategy. So the way that we were able to effectively start scaling, which was crazy because I don't know many other online businesses. Like we launched this thing, we went from 0 to 500K like month 1, and then higher. And like we've to me, again, back to the idea. The idea is so big, right? And as long as we can execute on it and really deliver on the promise that we say we're going to do it, you can crush it, right? It's been an amazing experience. We never went from like 0 to 20,000 to did that just get really dark? Hang on.
Yeah. Cool.
We never went from like 0 to 20K to 30K to 50K to 200K. It was like 0 to $500,000. We had month 2, we did $1 million in sales, right? And my best piece of advice for anyone, because anyone can do this, okay? It's not just me, right? Like I'm just a normal dude. I drink beer. I hang out with friends and family. I'm your normal guy you can sit and talk shit with. Like I'll watch football with you, right? The difference was you have to start building systems and infrastructure in your business. There's now 25 of us now, I think. Roles become more defined because when you're building a business, you kind of put on every different style hat possible. And you're just like, I'll do this, this, and this. So you start building infrastructure, right? Because as sales increase, you start seeing where the gaps are. I call it Swiss cheese, right? It's like where are the holes in your business? And then you start filling those holes with systems, processes, people, and tools, right? You have to create a system for each thing. So as we started growing, we had to create more systems, which means we needed more people, which means we needed more tools and software, which means we needed more standard operating procedures to execute on things and make sure they're streamlined and seamless. So the real difference from 1 million, going from 0 to 1 million to actually like consistently generating income like that, it's really just putting infrastructure in the form of people, processes, and tools in place and filling the gaps that you're running into. And you might be sitting there like, Blake, like, what are the gaps? Like, what am I going to run into? You'll know. Like, trust me, when you wake up every day and you go to bed like stressed over something, that's something to focus on. Do I need to remove myself from this part now and replace myself with a system to successfully accomplish what we're dealing with? And you as the owner, what you're going to start doing, you're just going to start doing that every day. And like, oh, we need to create a system here. We need another system here. We need infrastructure here. And as you do this over and over again, you now create something where you can step away for a day or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks, and your business is going to run fine. Because for the longest time, Tyler, I could not step away from anything. I was like, I was a victim of this own business. And it was frustrating because I knew that if I stepped away, it's like, it's going to be a disaster when I come back. Fires are going to be everywhere. And then when you start realizing, okay, I need a system for that, I need to build infrastructure for that, that's when you can actually kind of fire yourself from your own business, which is, it's an amazing, you would think as an entrepreneur, you're like, no, I want to grind. I want to, Gary V it, right? However, Gary, yeah, which I love Gary. Gary's a G, right? But it's really cool to be able to pull yourself away from parts like that and really focus on the vision of the business. Because ultimately you have to stay in the clouds, Gary V style, clouds and dirt. You have to have the clouds because you got to know where you're going. And then you also have to be in the dirt to really execute on it. And when you're able to put the infrastructure in place, you can pull yourself away from it and focus on bigger, longer term vision. So to answer your question, more words than needed. The difference is you put people, tools, and processes in place of the problems you're experiencing, and that you start building this infrastructure. And you never build it all at once. You build it all. It's kind of like, train tracks. You lay one piece and you keep going. Next thing you know, you got this like Snowpiercer train running the tracks. But yeah, one thing at a time. And then next thing you know, you look back and you have a business now that can sustain great growth, great customer service, great things like that.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. So I want to leave it to you. If there's anything else you want to share, the floor is yours. And then like website, social media, like where can people stay in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. So, you guys, I mean, we've been here for, 42, 43 minutes now or so. Appreciate you guys tuning in, watching the video. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this today. Best piece of advice for anyone just starting out, or those of you like not getting the traction that you're looking for, right? Because that was me for the longest time. I was sitting at I used to work in private equity. I was sitting at a table and, I'm over here like the guy, like I'm just like trying to learn, right? Millionaires to my left, multimillionaires to my, we're talking like hundreds of millionaires guys, like big guys.
Yeah.
I'm just this little peon. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just stay quiet. Like I'm a fly on the wall. I'm good. And, I remember I had this question. I'm like, hey man, like, what do you think? I remember looking over at one of the investors and I gained the courage and I'm like, hey man, what do you think is like the difference between those that like make a successful business and those that don't? And he looks at me and then this is when I got really embarrassed because everyone at the table heard my question. So everyone stops and he looks at me and he goes, you know what? It's actually funny. It's different than what you think. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, most people would think that you try a million things and you see, and you see what works, right? He goes, and you just keep going one thing to the next, seeing which one's going to stick for you and going all in on it. And kind of tangent on that. That's great and all when you're first starting out. I truly believe you need to try a bunch of different things and see what you like and then do that thing. And the next part he said was the part that kind of took me by storm. He's like, but the difference is from every multi-millionaire or billionaire I've ever seen, they never did that. They focused hardcore on one thing, even if it wasn't successful right away, or even if like the laws, the gravity and everything was against them, right? Nothing made sense. They stayed with it until they beat it into a pulp and they successfully accomplished it. And I remember everyone at the round table looked and they go, couldn't agree more. That's how I did it. And these are people that you would think would give up, right? Would make pivots, go a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of no success, right? Zero success. And you have to wake up every day out of bed knowing you're pushing for something. And there's like a 99.9% chance you're going to go to bed knowing you got nowhere. And they're like, that's what it takes. It's the ones that go all in, double and triple down on one thing, even if it's not giving them the ROI that they're looking for in the infancy stages. It's those people that create the massive organizations. It's not the ones that dabble and go the serial entrepreneur crap from one business to another. It's the ones that go laser focus all in on one thing, even when the odds are against them. And that is what I want to leave everyone with. If you guys are out there right now and you're trying to start a business, step one, yes, do some things, find stuff that makes you happy. Even if you don't think it's paying you a lot of money right away, you got to find your passion. The way you do that's by experimenting. But the second that you find something that is worth getting out of bed every single morning for, triple down on that thing and go all in as much as humanly possible, even when the odds are against you, because that is the recipe that's going to teach you more than jumping from idea to idea ever will. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to leave it with that, guys. If you want more information, you can find me. You can just Facebook me, Blake Newbar. You can get my personal profile will pop up. My brand page might pop up. I connect with everyone there. I have a free group out called the Freedom Fighters. Launch your first $1 million sales funnel. It's free to join. I hop in there and, we do trainings and things like that to really help guide you on what you're trying to accomplish. And it's my job, inside that group to really trying to help you put you in your zone of genius, because we all have one. And my job is kind of show you what that is and then guide you from there on how to start a profitable business. So that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth, but that's what I believe. And I hope, if you're watching right now, you can get some value from that and apply it to your new or existing business. business.
Perfect, man. Dude, incredible interview. Thank you again for coming on the show.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.